please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This morning we will have the minutes from last week, January 22nd and 23rd, followed by the consent agenda for those items we take with one vote. Following the consent agenda, we'll have the opportunity for citizen comments for any item not listed on the motion agenda. We have 5 main motion items listed. However, we are going to pull, I want to confirm this, pulling item 1 still. Is that correct, Sheriff?
Reference the vote?
Yes.
Yeah, that's being pulled for next week.
Thank you. So we are going to pull item number 1, and we're going to also pull item number 2 for this week. So that leaves us with 3 motion items, and each of those are from the Commissioner's office. With that, I will turn it over to Commissioner Mortensen for the minutes.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see such a large crowd. I hope to see it often. I did review the minutes as usual, and I move to approve them.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Also aye. The minutes are approved. On the consent agenda this morning, we do have a call for hearing, a resolution call for public hearing, proposed surplus of vehicles and equipment for disposal. The hearing is to be held February 12th, 2019 at 9:30 a.m. in this room. We have a number of agreements. We have 2. The first one, item number 8, is a letter of understanding with the Emergency Services Association. This is regarding the split off of 911 to being an independent entity. This is a letter regarding the transfer of leave balances. And then items 9 and 10 are both memorandum of understanding. The first one with the Emergency Services Association regarding the Washington paid family and medical leave law, as well as the MOU with Teamsters Local 223, the corrections sergeants regarding the same Washington paid family and medical leave law. And we do have board correspondence, a letter to the finance director, Kurt Williams, authorizing full delegation of authority as chief of staff when Mr. Swanson, our chief of staff, is absent. And as usual, we have listed our vouchers. If anybody would like any details on the vouchers that are listed, you can always ask for that information in the auditor's office. I would also note, it's not on the consent agenda, but I neglected to mention it. We do have a 10 o'clock recognition of wellness champions in this room. So that's in about an hour. Go ahead. And yes, thank you. Tiffany is probably putting daggers inside it. Commissioner Weber, of course, is absent, as you can tell, but he is excused. He's in Olympia this morning. With that, I will turn it over to Commissioner Mortensen for a motion.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll also vote aye. The consent agenda is approved. Next is the opportunity for citizen comment for any item that is not listed on the motion agenda. I do want to take one quick note. If you're here regarding opposing 1639, the resolution, that is a motion item, so we'd just like to point that out so you can speak to that item when it comes up on the motion agenda. Mr. Monroe.
Rick Von Rock, 400 North 7th in Kelso. You know, last week we had a very troubling event happen with the death of Kayla Chapman. You know, I'm looking at this, and I know people have a lot of opinions on things. Some saying having gun control would have prevented this. Well, it wouldn't have. I don't believe in controlling guns, but what I do believe in is justice. And this is where our state has went wrong. They've eliminated the death penalty. And this should not be. I think someone who misuses a gun and kills someone they should have the death penalty. Period. And I would like to see our county submit something to our governor concerning this. We don't want to control guns. We want to control those that misuse them. And if we cannot do that, then we're not going to accomplish anything. If you have no penalties, people have no fear. If you have no fear, they'll do what they want. So I'm encouraging our county to send a letter to the governor to ask him to do more on this, reinstating the death penalty and use it when heinous crimes like this are committed. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could make a comment, Mr. Chairman. I don't recall how long ago it was, but it was 20 years ago. I looked up some of the numbers because I got into a discussion with someone about, well, death penalty isn't a deterrent. And so I took a look at the numbers, and I took, for that epoch in time, the number of homicides, the percentage of apprehension, if you will, worked it through the system. The criminal has to be caught, the criminal has to be prosecuted, the death sentence has to be ordered. Turns out it was something like 0.1 or 0.01%. If you commit a homicide, there's a 0.1 or 0.01% that you will be executed. So I agree with your statement. Particularly, we want to make the distinction between obvious evidence, as we have here, and inferred situations. We can make those distinctions, but that goes back to something I feel rather strongly about. We are responsible. We cannot hide behind the laws. Part of what happened to Kayla is as a result of us.
You're right. Thank you.
Thank you. Further comment regarding anything not listed on the motion agenda? Yes, sir.
I knew Kayla, not real well. I knew her because she was very kind to me, and I'm a service animal. What the gentleman just spoke is right. We need to have accountability to those that misuse guns. And after going over the U.S. Constitution and then reading our Constitution, we need to say stop. Enough to government. Stop trampling on our First Amendment rights, Second Amendment through 7, and our Bill of Rights. The constitutions of both the U.S. and Washington State do not say, well, you can't have this gun, you can't have that gun, you can't do this. We need to, like the gentleman said, bring back the death penalty for those that misuse guns, because that lady was the sweetest, kindest lady I'd ever met. And she took, like I said, took time to take care of Sparkplug, who's my service animal, every time we came in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill Josh Longview. I definitely agree with Rick from Rock. Where I would disagree is I don't think it's a specific gun issue. People use knives, people use hammers, people use bludgeons, people use vehicles. It's a human problem. A firearm is a tool, just like a knife is a tool. If you look what's happening in Britain, they're looking at banning knives because people don't have access to firearms, so they found another tool to use to kill people. It's a human problem. One solution is a possible citizen initiative because the Washington State Supreme Court has said that it was a cruel and inhumane punishment to execute an individual. There is a bill currently in the state legislature that would reinstate the death penalty for those who committed murder while incarcerated. So that's another avenue to look at. But we should have the ultimate punishment available for those in our society that are not worthy of being part of our society anymore. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Brian Davis, Kalama. I think we're overlooking something with this fella, and that is
I believe he was involved with the law since he was about 12. He put a knife to somebody's throat when he was 14. And so if we didn't have the excessive plea bargaining and lenient judicial decisions, he'd have never killed that young lady because he'd have still been in the can until he was 21.
Further comment for any item not listed on the motion agenda before we move on to our 3 items? Okay, seeing none. Being we've polled again, item number 1 and item number 2. First on our list is the resolution amending Chapter 1.24 of the County Code to address policy-making discretion of the currently elected board. I will turn it over to our Chief of Staff, Mr. Swanson.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Axel Swanson, Chief of Staff, Commissioner Mortensen. This is the first of 2 items you've got coming from the clerk of the board and myself. You're very familiar with them because I think we workshopped them maybe 3 weeks in a row, 3 Wednesdays in a row. And for the audience and the public watching, what this is our attempt to try to codify at least once each year in January our rules and practices of the board. So, I mean, the first of these is the resolution and the code amendment. The code amendment is very short. It's basically, we just amended 2 paragraphs. And basically what we wanted to do in the county code was just cite to the rules of practice, because as we've talked about, it's probably not right or appropriate for a current Board of Commissioners to really hold a future Board of Commissioners to a set of rules of practice. So what we wanted to do in the code is say, this is when our regular meetings will take place. For all information, basically, you can read it verbatim, see the annually adopted rules of practice. And then it's our intention that the board will adopt those rules of practice, their rules of practice, for that year, each January moving forward, so everybody's aware of kind of how we'll operate. And that will give each new board that opportunity to make any changes they want at that time. So also set aside, and I can talk about both items now or we can wait, but the first item is the code amendment, which will cite the rules of practice. The second item is the actual rules of practice that we worked on for this year.
So the rules of practice are really the details that are referred to in the ordinance change.
Correct, Mr. Chair. So I came on board a little over a year ago. We started looking at these, and the code was kind of inaccurate. We talked with the state auditor actually about that in terms of how it's cited when our regular meetings are. And I don't want to get into too much detail, but there is a pretty important distinction between special and regular meetings as it relates to the Open Public Meetings Act. So we wanted to clarify the code, cite the rules, and then I think if folks have these rules of practice, we put them out last week. We try to really capture exactly what it is we're doing every week as far as the board's concerned, so that there's no question and no concern. Anybody can read these, find out exactly when our meetings are, how they're noticed, what each different regular meeting is. We have quite a number of different regular meetings, as you know. We have this meeting, which is our most formal public meeting. We do it every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. But we also have workshops on Wednesdays, and we have commissioner conferences on Wednesday afternoons, and we have staff meetings. And so we try to spell out exactly when all those are and what the purpose of those is in this document, so there shouldn't be any question moving forward.
Thank you. And I want to recognize your